Chapter 118. Li Shidi, although I know you have absolute confidence and certainty, but on the Feng Yun stage, anything can happen. Do not be careless. Chen Fanghua reminded Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen nodded. Even a lion will use its full strength to catch a rabbit. Chen Shiji, don't worry. A lion fighting a rabbit. Chen Fanghua didn't know why, but when she heard this, she immediately relaxed. Liao Tianjun, you're really pitiful. Of all the people you could have offended, you just had to offend junior brother Li. Chen Fanghua thought to herself. Li Fuchen's arrival caused the atmosphere to explode. Everyone looked at Li Fuchen with eyes that were rejoicing in his misfortune. 6th level of the Origin Realm. What capabilities does this Li Fuchen have to actually advance to the 6th level of the Origin Realm? One of the inner sect disciples sensed and exclaimed. What? 6th level of Origin Realm? Hearing this, all the inner sect disciples released their qi. He is indeed at the 6th level of the Origin Realm. This is impossible. He is just a normal bone frame. Isn't his cultivation speed too fast? It is comparable to a 4-star bone frame. He must have taken some forbidden medicine for this duel. That's right, he must have taken a forbidden medicine. This kind of forbidden medicine has great side effects. In the next 3 to 5 years, he can forget about advancing again. So what if he is at the 6th level of the Origin Realm? Liao Tianjun Shixiang is at the 9th level of the Origin Realm, which is 3 levels higher than him. Even though Li Fuchen's advancement to the 6th level of the Origin Realm shocked everyone, no one thought that Li Fuchen could defeat Liao Tianjun. Everyone believed that Li Fuchen must have consumed an exorbitant amount of forbidden medicine. A dog dares to challenge Liao Tianjun? He's simply courting death, Fang Laihai sneered from within the crowd. Li Fuchen is too rash. It was unknown when Gao Changtian and Wu Qingmei had arrived near the storm platform. Gao Changtian sighed. He was very clear what kind of place the wind cloud platform was. Only one of them could walk down, the other had to be carried down. No matter where he is always the center of attention. This kind of man is really rare. A seed was planted in Wu Qingmei's heart. This seed seemed to be showing signs of germination. Yu and Shixiang, how many moves do you think Li Fuchen can withstand? On the east side of the storm platform, a small group of people was extremely eye-catching. The center of this group of people was Yuan Tian. No matter where a 5-star bone frame was, he would be the center of attention and was like the sun in the sky. In fact, if Li Fuchen had a 5-star bone frame, there wouldn't be so much criticism. Fang Laihai and Liao Hailong wouldn't have offended Li Fuchen. One had to know that any 5-star bone frame was the sect's wealth. Whoever dared to touch a 5-star bone frame was equivalent to touching the sect's foundation. Let alone the main city's city lord, even the Liao clan's upper echelons would come to question them. Yuan Tian sized up Li Fuchen and noticed that Li Fuchen was at the 6th level of the Origin Realm. He then said, "You will lose within 100 moves." From the start, he was certain that Li Fuchen wouldn't be able to withstand 20 moves, and this was already overestimating him. But Li Fuchen breaking through to the 6th level of the Origin Realm surprised him. In his heart, he wasn't so sure anymore. 100 moves? Senior brother Yuan overestimates him. I think 10 moves is more like it. Senior brother Yuan must have his reasons for saying this. Don't embarrass yourself. Just as they were talking, a figure swept onto the storm platform. Li Fuchen, get your ass up here. Liao Tianjun shouted. Liao Tianjun, are you in such a hurry to die? Li Fuchen had a sarcastic expression. With a flash, he too skimmed onto the storm platform. What a sharp mouth you have. I will make you cry later. Liao Tianjun laughed sinisterly. I wonder who will be the one crying later? Li Fuchen retaliated. It was fine if Li Fuchen didn't retaliate. But once he did, everyone found him an eyesore and felt that he was too arrogant. Those who originally had some sympathy for him immediately changed their stance and supported Liao Tianjun. They hoped that Liao Tianjun could torture Li Fuchen and let him know the immensity of heaven and earth. On the storm platform, an inner sect deacon appeared. He frowned and seemed to find Li Fuchen an eyesore as well. Taking out a demonic beast pelt scroll, he said, Will the two of you please sign your names? Once you sign, there are no other rules except for not killing the other party. Before you sign, you may reconsider. No need to reconsider, I will sign. Liao Tianjun signed his name on the spot. What about you? The inner sect deacon looked at Li Fuchen with a trace of disdain in his eyes. Of course I will sign. Picking up the brush, Li Fuchen signed his name in a flamboyant manner. Keeping the demonic beast pelt scroll, the inner sect deacon announced, "The storm duel shall officially begin. Both of you do your best." Finishing his statement, he turned and jumped off the storm platform. Boom! Hearing the announcement, the atmosphere in the audience heated up again. Mingyue, is this the Li Fuchen you mentioned? His cultivation progress isn't bad, but he is too high profile. His temperament is questionable. On a small hill not far away, an elder stood with his hands behind his back. Beside him was an absolute beauty. Grandfather, don't be prejudiced by your first impression. I am sure that Li Fuchen isn't any inferior to a 5-star bone frame. The absolute beauty was Zhao Mingyue. She didn't agree with the elder's evaluation and argued. You are too confident. The elder laughed lightly. Just you wait and see. Zhao Mingyue was a little angry. Don't tell me you have fallen for him? As though he thought of something, the elder got nervous. He didn't wish for his granddaughter to get together with the normal bone frame. The bone frame was related to the inheritance of the bloodline. If the parents had a decent bone frame, the child's bone frame wouldn't be too bad either. If the parents had a terrible bone frame, the child's bone frame would be terrible too. His granddaughter had a 4-star pure Yin bone frame. Such a bone frame wasn't inferior to a 5-star bone frame. Grandfather, what did you say? Zhao Mingyue was annoyed. Mingyue, tell me seriously, do you like him? The elder had a serious expression and even had a trace of strictness. Zhao Mingyue hesitated for a moment and shook her head. That's good. The faintly discernible aura on the old man's body dissipated, and he once again returned to his previous calm and leisurely appearance. On the storm platform, Li Fuchen and Liao Tianjun stood 20 meters apart. Grinning, Liao Tianjun's imposing body exploded with a terrifying qi presence. This qi presence was like a storm that engulfed Li Fuchen. Without waiting for Li Fuchen to react, Liao Tianjun roared, "Earth Scare Sword Style." The Earth Scare Sword Style was an extremely cruel sword style. As long as a wound was made on anyone's body, the vicious sword force would invade the body and destroy the meridians and blood vessels, causing the opponent to be in excruciating pain. When the sword was brandished, a distorted and sharp light appeared in the air. The sharp light was like a swimming fish and was extremely agile. The Earth Scare Sword Qi actually appeared. Liao Tianjun Xixiang has cultivated the Earth Scare Sword style to the completion stage. How sad. Li Fuchen probably wouldn't even be able to withstand a single blade. He was so arrogant before the duel, but now he is probably kneeling and begging for mercy. Chapter 119. To reach the completion stage for a mystic class, low-tier sword art was extremely difficult. Even Liao Tianjun, a second-grade inner sect disciple with a 3-star bone frame, spent close to a decade to achieve it. Of course, there were even more second-grade inner sect disciples who spent 10 years and still couldn't reach the completion stage for a mystic class, low-tier sword art. Most of them were stuck at the threshold of the completion stage. Earth Scare Sword Style? Li Fuchen was slightly surprised. The Earth Scare Sword style was considered one of the hardest mystic class, low-tier sword arts to cultivate. Who would have thought that Liao Tianjun could actually cultivate it to the completion stage and had a perception that exceeded a regular 3-star bone frame? What a pity! Li Fuchen shook his head. If he had merely broken through to the 6th level of the origin realm, he might not be a match for Liao Tianjun. But now, even 2 Liao Tianjuns wouldn't be a match for him. Meteor fall. The black iron sword was unsheathed and a stream of light appeared. Then it froze and no longer moved. In the next moment, there was a burst of blinding sparks. Liao Tianjun felt as though he was struck by lightning and his black iron sword almost flew out of his hand. His entire body leaned back and retreated. Everything happened too fast. In the blink of an eye, Liao Tianjun was still in control of the arena. But in the blink of an eye, he was sent flying. The crowd couldn't even see how Li Fuchen made his move, they could only see the sparks and the flashes of light. Such a fast and terrifying blade. The crowd was flabbergasted. This was too much. Liao Tianjun was at the 9th level of the origin realm, but he couldn't even withstand a single blade from Li Fuchen. Those who were certain that Li Fuchen couldn't even withstand a single blade from Li Fuchen now felt their faces hurting, as though they were slapped 100 times. This. Gao Changtian was flabbergasted. At the side, Wu Qingmei's eyes were wide open and forgot to breathe. In her mind, she kept replaying the scene of that blade and Li Fuchen's confident look. So he wasn't bragging. Liao Tianjun was courting death by challenging him. How is this possible? Zhou Xiaotian exclaimed. Wang Li, who was beside him, looked as though she saw a ghost. Zhou Xiaotian was formidable, but compared to Liao Tianjun, he was still lacking. Liao Tianjun couldn't even withstand a single blade from Li Fuchen and was forced to retreat. Impossible! How is this possible? He must be cheating. Below the stage, Liao Hailong was in a daze, unable to believe what he was seeing. 1 year ago, Li Fuchen was only slightly stronger than him. 1 year later, his uncle Liao Tianjun couldn't even withstand a single blade from Li Fuchen. This was a huge blow to him, and his martial Dao confidence had collapsed. Seeing his son being repelled by a single blade from Li Fuchen, Liao Tianyun narrowed his eyes and had a gloomy expression. Damn it! Why is this Liao Tianjun so useless? Fang Laihai cursed in his heart. At the same time, he hated Li Fuchen even more. As the Mountain Sea City's young city lord, he was humiliated by Li Fuchen. Not only was he unable to take revenge, but he had to watch Li Fuchen prosper. It was truly unbearable for him. Well done, junior brother Li. Chen Fanghua's emotions were extremely agitated and complicated. In just a short span of a year, Li Fuchen didn't just surpass Liao Tianjun, even she didn't have the confidence to defeat Li Fuchen. Such a talented individual was rarely seen in the entire Zhonglan sect. Grandfather, what do you think? I told you he isn't a normal person. Zhao Mingyue was also shocked by this result, as it was out of her expectations. After being shocked, she couldn't help but speak to the veteran beside her. The veteran slowly let out a breath. 6th level of the origin realm, physical strength exceeding 20,000 kilograms, Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique at the 14th rank, Meteor Sword Style at the perfection stage. Such a perception is definitely not a normal person. But most importantly, his grasp of timing is 1 level higher than the other inner sect disciples. He can find the flaw of the Earth Scare Sword Style in a split second. What? The Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique is at the 14th rank? Last time he was at the 13th rank? Zhao Mingyue's red lips slightly opened. She didn't have the eyesight of a Heaven Realm martial artist, hence she couldn't see much. This child's perception is comparable to Sword Maniac. But now, Sword Maniac has a 4-star bone frame and he doesn't. If the veteran knew that Li Fuchen's Meteor Sword Style wasn't at the perfection stage, but at the trance stage, he wouldn't have said this. Back when Sword Maniac was at the 6th level of the origin realm, he didn't even reach the trance stage for a mystic class, low-tier sword style and comprehend sword intent. On the Feng Yun stage, Li Fuchen didn't give chase. With his opponent's ability, he couldn't even force out his sword intent. Why would he give chase? That's right, he didn't use his sword intent for that Meteor Fall move. Hence to outsiders, Meteor Fall was only at the perfection stage. Li Fuchen had his own considerations for doing this. He had plenty of enemies now and it was inevitable that he would be ambushed. Hence, it was necessary to keep some trump cards. Once his trump cards were exposed, there wouldn't be any chance of a comeback. He didn't wish for such a thing to happen. If I use my sword intent, I can even kill 2 Liao Tianjuans in an instant. Li Fuchen thought to himself. There was a huge difference between using sword intent or not. The presence of sword intent was enough to double the speed of Meteor Fall and amplify its firepower by at least 3 times. In the face of absolute speed, any technique or power wasn't worth mentioning. A single strike was a sure kill. A pity that he couldn't use it and didn't need to. Bastard, what did you do just now? After retreating over 10 steps, Liao Tianjun finally stopped his retreating momentum. He lifted his head and asked with a questioning expression. You aren't a match for me. It is not too late to back out now. Unless absolutely necessary, Li Fuchen didn't want to fight to the death with the Liao clan. Hence, he was willing to give his opponent a chance to retreat. Dream on. Don't be too arrogant. I will let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. Liao Tianjun was infuriated. A pill that was hidden in his mouth was suddenly crushed. In the next moment, an extremely violent energy surged out. The intensity of his qi presence was increased by at least 30%. What is going on? Liao Tianjun Xixiang's qi presence got stronger. Did he conceal his ability? I knew it. How could Li Fuchen be a match for Liao Tianjun? Liao Tianjun Xixiang must have been careless. Everyone suddenly realized. Something isn't right. Qin Fanghua frowned. Liao Tianjun's qi presence was formidable, but it didn't seem like it was cultivated by himself. Half mystic class pill, qi burst pill. Such audacity. Beside Zhao Mingyue, the veteran frowned. Grandfather, he is violating the rules of the Feng Yun stage. Why aren't you going to stop him? Zhao Mingyue asked. On the Feng Yun stage, no external force was allowed. If not, the Feng Yun stage's basic fairness would be gone. The veteran shook his head. Let's wait and see. This kid shouldn't be so simple, right? He was prepared to make a move at the crucial moment. If Li Fuchen couldn't stop Liao Tianjun, then Li Fuchen wouldn't be worthy of his attention. Little bastard, lie down. The Qi Burst pill was a half-mystic class pill. One pill was worth 70,000 gold coins. At first, he thought his father was making a big fuss. Now that he thought about it, his father was indeed wise. As long as he could win, who cared about the process? Mixed with a horrific qi presence, Liao Tianjun slashed at Li Fuchen again. The violent sword presence was like the sharpest storm that could cut through anything. Chapter 120. A medicinal pill that increases true qi. Li Fuchen frowned. This seemed to violate the rules of the storm platform, but since the inner sect deacon in charge of the storm platform did not say anything, he obviously could not say anything. Woo woo woo. When it was 10 meters away from Li Fuchen, the distorted earth-scarce sword qi suddenly flew out from the sword. True qi was released. After swallowing the explosive qi pill, Liao Tianjun reached the level of true qi externalization and could kill people from a distance. Li Fuchen narrowed his eyes and changed his footsteps before vanishing without a trace. Low-tier profound level leg art, shadowless kick. Clang clang clang. The twisted sword qi brushed past the ground and exploded into a layer of pale white sparks. Do you think you can escape? Liao Tianjun grinned hideously as he swung his sword again and again. Streams of earth-scarred sword qi were like swimming fishes, covering a radius of 10 meters. This 10-meter area was undoubtedly a death zone. Anyone who was weaker than him would be sliced into a bloody mess by the numerous sword qis. Li Fuchen's footwork was extremely fast. It was as though his entire body was weightless. He turned into a ghostly shadow and shuttled around the Feng Yun stage. The earth-scarce sword qi that was like a swimming fish was unable to get close to him. Liao Tianjun's face darkened. Do you only know how to run? Coward! How could he not see that Li Fuchen's leg art had probably reached the perfection stage? Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to dodge so many earth-scarce sword qi. Escape? That might not be the case. Li Fuchen made a turn in midair and took 3 consecutive steps on the ground. Like a wisp of green smoke, he passed through a large amount of earth-scarce sword qi and instantly appeared on the left side of Liao Tianjun. Liao Tianjun was distracted by Li Fuchen's footwork and his reaction was slightly slower. However, Liao Tianjun was quite formidable. At the crucial moment, his body spun like a spinning top, and he used the ultimate move of the earth-scarred sword technique, Heaven Crippling, Earth-Scarred. Woo 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 woo. His body was like a giant top that was spinning violently. At the same time, streaks of arc-shaped sword qi were shot in all directions. Li Fuchen was caught off guard and couldn't dodge in time. He had to swing his sword to neutralize the streaks of sword qi. Unknowingly, Li Fuchen was forced to retreat more than 10 meters away. Let's see how you're going to dodge this time. Gale Swift Sword. Liao Tianjun let out a furious roar and changed his sword stance from Earth Scarcity to Hurricane Swift Sword. Even though the Hurricane Swift Sword was only a yellow class peak tier sword art, it wasn't as profound as the Earth Scare sword art, and its power was far from being comparable to the Earth Scare sword art. Its advantage lay in its speed. Not only was it fast, it was ferocious as well. It was like a violent gust of wind, unstoppable. Li Fuchen is going to lose. Below the stage, someone couldn't help but ask. Li Fuchen's footwork was indeed incredible and could easily dodge the Earth Scare sword chi. But when Liao Tianjun executed the violent wind quick sword, the space for Li Fuchen to dodge was shrunk by a few folds. Don't even mention a human, even a bird wouldn't be able to dodge. The dense sword chi swept over, and the range was so wide that it almost covered half of the storm platform. Since I can't use my sword intent, this is the only way. Withdrawing the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique and revolving the Wind Shadow steps, Li Fuchen lightly leapt forward like an arrow leaving the bow. In a split second he flew a few dozen meters away. That speed was simply unheard of and wasn't something a regular Origin Realm martial artist could achieve. How could it be so fast? Everyone was shocked by Li Fuchen's speed. I don't believe you can dodge all of my attacks. Liao Tianjun went berserk and poured all of his chi into the black iron sword. The density of the sword chi increased once again. At the same time, Liao Tianjuan's left hand would occasionally send out punches. The violent fist force enveloped Li Fuchen. With the fist force in front and the concentrated sword chi behind, if it was anyone else, even if it was a first-grade inner sect disciple at the 9th level of the Origin Realm, they wouldn't be able to dodge and would have to face it head-on. But Li Fuchen wasn't one of them. Completely disregarding the inertia of extreme speed, Li Fuchen lightly tapped on the ground with his feet and flew backwards. Not only did he dodge the fist force, he even leapt over the sword chi. If this was it, it would have been fine. After leaping over the sword chi, Li Fuchen used his left hand to suck on the ground. Under the violent suction force, Li Fuchen's speed shot through the air and landed on the ground in an instant. But this time, he was head down and legs up. Tapping the black iron sword on the ground, Li Fuchen flipped his body and landed behind Liao Tianjun like he was juggling. From start to finish, Li Fuchen gave off a feeling that he was defying the laws of nature and gravity. It was as though nature couldn't restrain him any longer. Is he still a human? Is he a monster? Everyone was in a daze. They never thought that a human's body could perform such high speed and difficult movements. It was simply challenging the limits of their vision. Wind Shadow steps at the perfection stage, shadowless leg at the perfection stage. This child is rather interesting. The veteran's eyes shrunk. He couldn't help but admit that Li Fuchen's perception was definitely at the heaven-defying class. Not only did he cultivate his sword arts to the highest rank, his light body technique and leg arts were also ridiculously high. If a regular person could achieve any one of them, they would be proud. You have lost. Without waiting for Liao Tianjun to turn around, Li Fuchen placed his sword on his opponent's throat. Liao Tianjuan's eyes were bloodshot as he roared, "Lost? When did I lose?" Liao Tianjun suddenly punched at Li Fuchen's chest. Even with his 20,000 kilograms of physical strength and astounding physical defense, Li Fuchen couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of fresh blood and was sent flying. Despicable. Chen Fenghua cursed. Shameless. Zhao Mingyue couldn't hold back her anger. Li Fuchen had already let him off, but he didn't expect Liao Tianjun to not admit defeat and sneak attacked Li Fuchen instead. Li Fuchen, don't pretend to be righteous. Do you really think it is hard for you to defeat me? On the Feng Yun stage, other than killing, there are no other rules. It is impossible for you to win without a fight. Now lie down. Don't worry, I will only chop off your limbs. I will preserve your dantian for you. Liao Tianjun followed up with the Earth Scare sword style to envelop Li Fuchen. I was too careless. Li Fuchen sighed. Liao Tianjun knew that Li Fuchen didn't dare to kill him, hence he was unrestrained. Li Fuchen had underestimated his opponent's shamelessness. At such a close distance, he couldn't even execute his body technique in time. After all, the radius of the fist force was too wide. Unless he could instantaneously shift, there was nothing he could do. Li Fuchen, who was sent flying while vomiting blood, took a deep breath and rushed into the sky. Since you aren't willing to admit defeat, then don't blame me. Li Fuchen's eyes flashed with a cold glow. The combination of the wind shadow steps and shadowless leg wasn't just this. Body like the wind, wind like a shadow, shadow without a trace. At this moment, Li Fuchen showed everyone what a light body technique was and what it meant to surpass the limits of one's vision. In just a few blinks of the eye, Li Fuchen was behind Liao Tianjun again. His speed was even faster than before. Liao Tianjun didn't expect the injured Li Fuchen to be even faster. But he wasn't worried in his heart. He didn't believe that Li Fuchen would dare to offend the Liao clan and hurt him. But he underestimated Li Fuchen's determination. With a flash of light, Li Fuchen pierced Liao Tianjuan's left arm. With a spin of the black iron sword, with a flick, a huge arm flew into the sky and blood rained down. Chapter 121. Seeing Liao Tianjun howling miserably, the vicinity of the storm platform was completely silent. No one could imagine that Liao Tianjun would lose so miserably. This was especially true for those who knew that Liao Tianjun had consumed a qi explosion pill. Their hearts were filled with shock. Li Fuchen was only at the 6th level of the origin realm. Once he advances to the 9th level of the origin realm, how strong would he be? Would he be able to go against an Earth realm martial artist? How ruthless! He actually dared to injure senior brother Liao Tianjun. Having lost his left arm, senior martial brother Liao Tianjuan's battle prowess has been greatly reduced. In a battle of the same cultivation realm, he will suffer a great loss. That's right. Although the left arm looks useless, it can ensure the balance of the body. At the crucial moment, it can even attack the opponent from both sides. Sigh, what a pity. Severing Liao Tianjun Xianxia's arm. This Li Fuchen has completely offended the Liao clan. His future days will be tough. In addition to being shocked by Li Fuchen's ability, everyone was also shocked by Li Fuchen's decisiveness and ruthlessness. When facing a colossus like the Liao clan, it was inevitable to suffer some losses. But if you dare to let them suffer, then sorry, they will definitely let you know what it means to seek your own death. Stupid, do you really think that the grudge will be resolved after you leave the storm platform? Yuan Tian said coldly, not feeling good. Little bastard, if you dare to break my son's arm, I'll break all your limbs. With a roar, a phantom instantly appeared on the storm platform. It was Liao Tianyun. Liao Tianjun, who had lost an arm and was breathing weakly, stood up. Liao Tianyun's aura erupted and filled the entire storm platform. Under the shroud of this horrific qi presence, Li Fuchen felt as though his body was being pressed by a mountain. His knees went soft and he couldn't help but kneel down. Never. Li Fuchen bit his lips and resisted the qi presence. Due to using too much strength, Li Fuchen bit his lips and didn't even know that blood was flowing out. Father, I lost an arm. I'm done for. Liao Tianjun was in so much pain that his eyes were numb. Heavenly Army. Liao Tianyun looked anxious. He didn't expect that Liao Tianjun, who consumed the Qi Burst pill, would still lose to Li Fuchen. This was completely different from what he expected. Little bastard, it's just a competition. Why are you being so heavy-handed? What are your intentions? Liao Tianyun stared at Li Fuchen with a cold expression. His eyes surged with murderous intent. Under the shroud of the opponent's qi presence, Li Fuchen couldn't utter a single word. He gritted his teeth and his veins were exposed. But from the start to the end, Li Fuchen didn't even let out a grunt. In his eyes, there was only an unyielding look and there wasn't a trace of begging. Seeing Li Fuchen's expression, Liao Tianyun's face turned even colder. Even with his heaven realm qi presence, he wasn't able to force Li Fuchen to kneel. The tenacity of this child's willpower was simply appalling. Generally, people with strong willpower would have great achievements in the future. This kid couldn't be allowed to live. Liao Tianyun felt a hidden danger and his killing intent exploded. Little B asterisk starred, you are so young and yet you are so ruthless. You are a scourge to our Azure Water sect. Today, I shall represent the sect to cripple your dantian and break your limbs. While speaking, Liao Tianyun swung his hand. 5 sharp chi forces assaulted Li Fuchen's dantian and limbs. Is this the end? Li Fuchen stared at the chi attack and roared in his heart. Below the stage, although most of the people were gloating, there were still a few people who could not bear it. The Liao family was too overbearing. On the storm platform, as long as one did not kill, there were no rules. Could it be that only your son was allowed to cripple Li Fuchen, but Li Fuchen was not allowed to hurt your son? What kind of logic was this? What's more, Li Fuchen had already let your son off once. The current outcome was your son's own fault. Unfortunately, Liao Tianyun couldn't hear the thoughts of these people. Even if he did, he would only scoff at them. His Liao clan was an ancient clan of the Zhonglan region. How could a trash like Li Fuchen compare to their clan's descendants? Seeing that Li Fuchen was about to become a cripple, Liao Tianyun, stop. A vigorous and forceful voice echoed out of nowhere. In the next moment, a chi wall appeared in front of Li Fuchen. The 5 streams of energy shot out by Liao Tianyun disappeared without a trace. This was not good. It was the inner sect Grand Elder. Liao Tianyun was unwilling to give up. Gritting his teeth, he executed another attack. This attack was with his full strength. An extremely intimidating chi force, as though it was going to rip apart the void, turned into a sharp sword and ruthlessly slashed at the chi wall. Presumptuous! Get down! The chi wall surged and shattered the sharp sword. In the next moment, an even more horrifying chi presence descended and pressed down on Liao Tianyun. A shocking scene happened. Liao Tianyun, who was at the 2nd level of the heaven realm, couldn't withstand this chi presence and laid down on the ground, unable to move an inch. Liao Tianyun used his chi presence to suppress Li Fuchen and didn't even make Li Fuchen kneel. But his opponent used his chi presence to suppress him to the ground. How much ability did he have to achieve this? Below the stage, the crowd kept quiet out of fear and didn't dare to make a sound. The fight between the inner sect elders wasn't something they could discuss, let alone disturb. In the skies above the Feng Yun stage, a green-robed veteran landed slowly with an angry expression. Inner sect Grand Elder Zhao Wujin, peak-level heaven realm cultivation, one of the upper echelons of the Azure Water sect. Apart from the sect patriarch, supreme elder, and the sect protector, he had the highest and most respected status. Liao Tianyun, you are too presumptuous. Who do you think you are to interfere with the Feng Yun stage's duel? Are you trying to rebel? Zhao Wujin didn't let go of his chi presence and continued to suppress Liao Tianyun. Liao Tianyun bellowed while lying on the ground, Grand Elder, this child is ruthless. He didn't take into consideration our fellow sect members and severed one of my son's arms. How can I let him off so easily? Zhao Wujin's face flashed with a strange expression. This person was really thick-skinned to even say such words. He couldn't help but snort. How can there be any fellow sect members on the Feng Yun stage? Your son is too overbearing. He asked for it and reaped what he sowed. No matter what, my Liao clan's disciple isn't someone he can compare to. Grand Elder, please allow me to punish him. What a joke. Get lost. If I find out that your Liao clan dares to deal with this child, I will report to the sect patriarch and punish your Liao clan. Zhao Wujin revealed a look of disgust. With a sweep of his chi presence, he sent Liao Tianyun and Liao Tianjun flying. Just as Zhao Wujin was about to speak a few words with Li Fuchen, another vigorous voice echoed. Grand Elder, aren't you being too overbearing? My Liao clan has made great contributions to the Azure Water sect, and this is how you treat my Liao clan? From afar, a green-robed figure flew over. It was a white-haired veteran who was even older than Zhao Wujin. His chi presence was like an abyss as deep as the sea. With a single glance, it was like a giant whirlpool that sucked away one's essence chi. Liao Haiwang, is it me who is overbearing or your Liao clan who is overbearing? You should know in your heart. I shall not argue with you. Hurry up and bring your Liao clan's disciples away. Zhao Wujin immediately called out the white-haired veteran's name. Many of the spectators took in a deep, cold breath. What was going on today? First, it was the inner sect Grand Elder, Zhao Wujin, who came to spectate the match. Now, even the Liao clan's founder, Liao Haiwang, was here. Liao Haiwang, a 9th-level Heaven Realm martial artist, was one of the top 10 inner sect elders of the Azure Water sect. His status was only half a rank lower than the inner sect Grand Elder. Chapter 122. So this is a Heaven Realm martial artist? Li Fuchen's body was drenched in sweat, as though he just got out of the water. A Heaven Realm martial artist was too strong. They didn't even need to make a move, just their chi presence was enough to crush someone to death. Li Fuchen was able to withstand Liao Tianyun's chi presence, not because he was strong. In fact, even a first-grade inner sect disciple at the 9th level of the Origin Realm might not be able to withstand Liao Tianyun's chi presence. Because it wasn't just cultivation level suppression, but also spirit willpower suppression. Spirit willpower was very mystical, it could interfere with reality. If a regular person subconsciously thought that they were sick, then their body would have problems very quickly. Some places were very evil and haunted. Those who went in would come out as if they were possessed. They would have a strange expression and would sometimes do things that normal people couldn't understand. But it was actually the spirit willpower that was distorted, resulting in hallucinations. The spirit willpower was a person's intrinsic quality. When this intrinsic quality was being pressured, the body would have an intense reaction. For those who cultivated their spirit willpower, a single look would cause you to have intense hallucinations, causing you to do things that went against your own will. Of course, these kinds of people were extremely rare, less than 1 in 100 million. Only those who possessed an extremely special bone structure were able to cultivate their own spirit and soul. Li Fuchen was able to withstand Liao Tianyun's chi presence mainly because his soul spirit and willpower were much stronger than a normal person. If not, he wouldn't have been able to withstand it. Not bad. To be able to defeat Liao Tianjun who consumed a chi burst pill is already shocking enough. I didn't expect you to be able to withstand Liao Tianyun's chi presence. Do you know that even a regular Earth Realm martial artist wouldn't be able to withstand it? Turning around, Zhao Wujin looked at Li Fuchen with a face of admiration. Putting aside his perception, even his spirit willpower was so strong. Zhao Wujin couldn't help but appreciate this talent. Perhaps a normal bone frame would limit Li Fuchen's potential, but with Li Fuchen's current potential, progressing to the Earth Realm wouldn't be a problem. With his perception, once he reached the Earth Realm, he would definitely be one of the strongest in the Earth Realm. If he had enough opportunities, progressing to the Heaven Realm wouldn't be impossible. Many thanks for Grand Elder's help. Fuchen will never forget it. Li Fuchen expressed his gratitude. If it weren't for Zhao Wujin, he would have become a cripple. The peak of the martial Dao and the peak of the sword Dao had nothing to do with him. This is the Azure Water sect. If he is allowed to mess around, what prestige and justice does the Azure Water sect have? Zhao Wujin coldly snorted. Grandfather, the Liao clan is so shameless and overbearing. Why don't you report them to the sect master? Zhao Mingyue also jumped up. Zhao Wujin shook his head and said, "It's not that simple. Do you think it's that easy to topple an ancient family? On the surface, their strength might not be comparable to our Zhao clan, but in terms of connections, they aren't any weaker than our Zhao clan. In fact, they might even be superior. What's more, the Liao clan is still a member of the Azure Water sect. If we take them down, it will cause our Azure Water sect's strength to suffer and benefit our rival sections. Most importantly, he didn't have to fight to the death with the Liao clan. After all, they didn't offend him." Clearing his throat, Zhao Wujin looked at Li Fuchen again and said slowly, "With your bone frame, you originally didn't have the qualifications to become a prodigy of the Azure Water sect. But after seeing your perception and spirit will, I have decided to give you the identity of a prodigy. But this prodigy status isn't that stable. If one day you suddenly lose your perception and your cultivation speed slows down, this prodigy status will still be taken back by the sect." As the inner sect Grand Elder, he had the authority to give a prodigy status to someone without the approval of the other upper echelons. Of course, the prerequisite was that Li Fuchen had the ability and could withstand scrutiny. It wasn't like he could just randomly find someone and give them the status of a prodigy. Thank you, Grand Elder. Li Fuchen, who never showed his emotions, couldn't help but get excited after hearing these words. Even though inner sect prodigies were also first-grade inner sect disciples, but when redeeming sect items, they would receive a discount that was much more than first-grade inner sect disciples. First-grade inner sect disciples received a 30% discount, while inner sect prodigies received a 50% discount, saving 20% of contribution points. Now if he were to redeem Class 2 Demonic Beast Blood Essence, a single bottle would only cost 100,000 gold, instead of the original 140,000 gold. He had saved a total of 40,000 gold. Your hard work in cultivation is the greatest repayment to me. Work hard. Zhao Wujin patted on Li Fuchen's shoulder. He was a person who loved talents. Be it Zhao Wuji or Li Fuchen, they were both good seedlings in his eyes. But Li Fuchen and Zhao Wuji were different. Li Fuchen had too many uncertainties and he wasn't sure how far Li Fuchen could go. Had it not been for Li Fuchen's monstrous perception, he would at most praise him and not give him the status of a prodigy. Don't worry, Grand Elder. Li Fuchen nodded. There is nothing else for me to do here. This old man shall take his leave. Zhao Wujin laughed and with a flash, he turned into a stream of light and vanished from everyone's sight. After helping you so much, shouldn't you treat me and Qin Shiji to a meal? Zhao Mingyue laughed. Naturally. In this year, in order to cultivate the hidden blood body technique, he had already purchased 3 bottles of Class 2 Demonic Beast Blood Essence, which cost him a total of 420,000 gold coins. Now he was only left with a few 100,000 gold coins, which wasn't much. But when it was time to treat, he still had to. Below the Feng Yun stage, the crowd didn't leave immediately. They all looked at Li Fuchen with envy and jealousy. The inner sect Grand Elder actually gave him the status of an inner sect prodigy. How enviable! If I had the status of an inner sect prodigy, my improvement speed would be much faster than now. That's right. Inner sect prodigies can redeem sect items at a 50% discount. How much contribution points can they save? Don't be envious. The entire inner sect doesn't even have 30 inner sect prodigies. Even if you were given the status of an inner sect prodigy, you wouldn't feel secure. Everyone chimed in with their opinions. Hearing the discussions, Yuan Tian snorted and immediately left the Feng Yun stage. Li Fuchen, I shall let you be arrogant for a while. Feng Laihai left sullenly. Inner sect prodigy, huh? Li Shidi sure is a blessing in disguise. Qin Fanghua laughed. Not waiting for the crowd to leave, the 3 of them went to the delicacy pavilion and had a feast. Even though Li Fuchen felt the pinch from spending a few tens of thousands of gold coins, but compared to the status of an inner sect prodigy, these tens of thousands of gold coins weren't even worth mentioning. He could just buy a bottle of Class 2 Demonic Beast Blood Essence to save up. Of course, he needed gold coins first. Half of the year has passed. It is time to carry out a sect mission. The yearly sect mission had to be carried out and no one could reject it. This time, Li Fuchen was prepared to carry out a high-tier mission to earn more contribution points. Who knows, he might even be able to earn some gold coins too. After finishing his dinner, Li Fuchen headed back. At the foot of the mountain, when he passed by a courtyard, Li Fuchen suddenly stopped. This courtyard originally belonged to Zhu Hongxiu. A year ago, Zhu Hongxiu became an inner sect disciple. But a week later, Zhu Hongxiu disappeared along with her cousin, Zhu Xiaoming. Intuition told Li Fuchen that something happened to the Zhu clan. Chapter 123. The next morning, Li Fuchen arrived at the mission hall. Soon enough, Li Fuchen found a suitable high-tier mission. The mission was to kill the 3 Wang brothers and take back the Jade Buddha. The Wang brothers were all at the 9th level of the Origin Realm. Cultivation skill, Yellow class, Great Blood Chi skill. He practiced martial arts, Blood Saber Chop, Blood Palm Imprint, and Blood Transformation Grand Technique. Mission reward, 20,000 contribution points. This mission is quite interesting. Li Fuchen was rather interested. The 3 Wang brothers were martial artists from Linsha City. After a fortuitous encounter, The three of them received the inheritance of an Earth Realm martial artist. They learned the yellow class, peak-tier cultivation technique, blood chi technique, and 3 other formidable martial arts. Since then, their strength had increased by leaps and bounds. A regular 9th-level Origin Realm martial artist wouldn't even be a match for the 3 brothers. This is it. Tearing the mission slip, Li Fuchen strode out of the mission hall. He left the quest hall. He must be going out to do some quests. Outside the mission hall, a few inner sect deacon disciples had different expressions. Facing Fiend City was a border city of the Azure Water region and was just a few hundred miles away from the Heaven Fiend region. The Heaven Fiend region was ruled by the Heaven Fiend sect, a sect that was slightly more dominant than the Azure Water sect. This time, Li Fuchen didn't intend to temper his light body technique and chose to ride a horse instead. The horse was a rank 2 demonic blood horse. It was extremely fast and had astonishing endurance. Hiya! Tightening his legs around the horse's abdomen, the Class 2 demonic blood horse carried Li Fuchen and shot out like an arrow. Its speed was several folds faster than a Class 1 demonic blood horse. Chase. Not long after Li Fuchen left, a group of inner sect deacon disciples rode on Class 2 demonic blood horses and chased after him. Interesting, this little bastard actually has so many enemies. Not long after the group of inner sect deacon disciples left, another figure appeared. Looking at this person's aura, he was actually at the Earth Realm. Well, it's not fun to kill this little bastard at once. When they are almost done fighting, I will break his legs and bring him back to the Liao family. The figure grinned. Then, his figure flashed and floated away like a wisp of smoke. This little fellow is really troublesome. However, it's been a long time since I went out. It's not bad to look at the scenery. High up in the sky, a middle-aged man stood in the air and saw everything. If Li Fuchen was here, he would have recognized the middle-aged man as the main examiner of the inner sect disciple trials, Elder Yu. Elder Yu's name was Yu Hua. As an inner sect elder, he had an esteemed status and would usually be in seclusion. Only occasionally would he carry out his duties in the inner sect. This time, he came out of seclusion because he was entrusted by the inner sect Grand Elder, Zhao Wujin. He requested for him to protect Li Fuchen when he was carrying out his mission. If it were anyone else, Elder Yu would have rejected the offer. What did the safety of an inner sect disciple have to do with him? But Li Fuchen was different. Yu Hua had high hopes for Li Fuchen. If not, he wouldn't have suggested for Li Fuchen to become an inner sect prodigy. Yu Hua soared into the sky like a giant bird and soared into the sky. A total of 11 9th-level Origin Realm martial artists should be able to settle this. Li Fuchen had already noticed that he was being followed, but he didn't notice the existence of that Earth Realm martial artist. This was a small forest. After passing through the small forest, there was a large river. The river meandered like a white dragon, reaching the ends of the world. On the official road near the forest, Li Fuchen gradually slowed down. He discovered us? From afar, the group of inner sect deacon apprentices slowed down as well. So what if he discovered us? Does he think he can go against the 11 of us? One of the inner sect deacon apprentices snorted. That's right. He may have defeated Liao Tianjun and is stronger than any of us. But with the combined strength of the 11 of us, even 3 Liao Tianjuans wouldn't be a match. Since that is the case, then let's go. Kill him and end this once and for all. Hiya! The 11 of them clamped onto their horses and galloped towards Li Fuchen. Who are you people? Li Fuchen sized up the 11 of them. He initially suspected the Liao clan. But with the Liao clan's strength, they wouldn't send out a 9th-level Origin Realm martial artist, but an Earth Realm martial artist. Even though he knew that once he left the sect, he would be ambushed. But he had no choice. He had to carry out the sect's mission. The only thing he could do was to purchase some survival items. He believed that with these survival items, even an Earth Realm martial artist wouldn't be able to kill him easily. You don't need to know who we are. You just need to know that this day next year will be your death anniversary. The 11 inner sect deacons slapped on the back of their horses and rushed towards Li Fuchen for the kill. If I didn't guess wrongly, you people are from the Shentu clan, Yang clan, and Guan clan? Li Fuchen squinted his eyes and revealed a cold light. Kill him. Hearing this, the 11 of them panicked. They didn't expect Li Fuchen to be able to guess their identities. The 11 of them were like 11 giant birds, attacking Li Fuchen from 11 different directions. In an instant, the sword light was dense and chilling. If it was Liao Tianjun here, he would have been turned into a hornet's nest. Staring at the 11 of them like they were dead men, Li Fuchen drew his sword. Once the sword was unsheathed, 3 streams of light appeared at the same time. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. 3 of the inner sect deacon apprentices paused in midair, as their chests were pierced through with a blood hole. Sliding close to the ground, Li Fuchen brandished his sword 3 more times. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. One of them had his lower body pierced, another was severed in half at the waist, and the last one had his spine broken. The sound of corpses falling to the ground could only be heard at this moment. And in this short period of time, Li Fuchen had already killed 6 of them. Damn it, his sword is 2 times faster than when he fought against Liao Tianjun. The power is also 3 times stronger. The remaining 5 of them were terrified. They had never seen such a fast sword. The speed of the sword had already exceeded the limits of their vision and their reflexes. Run! The 5 of them had completely lost their will to fight. With a flash, they prepared to escape in all directions. Do you think you can escape? Stomping on the ground, Li Fuchen executed his light body technique and leg arts to the limits. His entire body was like a phantom, passing through the 5 of them. In the next moment, all 5 of them had their eyes wide open. They either fell facing the sky, face down, or tilted their bodies and fell limply to the ground. Li Fuchen's eyes widened. Sheathing the black iron sword, Li Fuchen let out a breath. With the death of 11 inner sect deacon apprentices, I believe the Shen-Tu clan, Yang clan, and Guan clan will be heartbroken. The 3 major clans of Yunwu City weren't the Liao clan. The 3 major clans only had a few Earth Realm martial artists. 9th level Origin Realm martial artists were their backbone. With so many 9th level Origin Realm martial artists dead, Li Fuchen didn't believe the 3 major clans wouldn't be heartbroken. Just as Li Fuchen was about to search them, he suddenly froze on the spot with cold sweat dripping from his forehead. Interesting. On the Fengyun stage, you actually concealed so much of your ability. Since it is like this, all the more reason to not let you live. Unknowingly, an elder appeared a few dozen meters away. The elder was dressed in gray robes, with a masked face and a stern expression. Earth Realm martial artist? Li Fuchen didn't turn around. Just by sensing his chi, he knew that this person was definitely an Earth Realm martial artist. As for which level of the Earth Realm he was at, he couldn't tell yet. Don't worry, I won't kill you immediately. That would be too easy on you. The gray-robed elder strolled over with a calm and confident expression. Ping! Chapter 124. Courting Death. The gray-robed elder was infuriated. His left and right hands parted the clouds and released 2 powerful chi forces. Swish! The white smoke was parted, but Li Fuchen's figure was nowhere to be seen. Despicable little b********************** d. Wait till I catch you. I will let you taste all the pain in this world. The gray-robed elder's figure flashed and entered the forest. Apart from the forest, there was no other concealment. The gray-robed elder naturally assumed that Li Fuchen entered the forest. A moment later, the 2 stacked corpses were pushed aside and Li Fuchen stood up. What a smart lad. Up in the sky, Yu Hua saw everything. Even he was almost fooled. Had it not been for his high vantage point, he would have assumed that Li Fuchen entered the forest like the gray-robed elder. Not daring to waste any more time, Li Fuchen rode on the Class 2 demonic blood horse and galloped away. Had it not been for my spirit soul ability to conceal my chi presence, it would have been a tough task to get rid of this Earth Realm martial artist. On the horse, Li Fuchen thought to himself. Li Fuchen had yet to experience the strength of an Earth Realm martial artist. Of course, he didn't want to experience it himself. Even though Liao Tianjun was able to externalize his chi and was comparable to a first-level Earth Realm martial artist, but be it his reaction speed or the volume of his chi, they were far inferior to an Earth Realm martial artist. In a fight with an Earth Realm martial artist, there was only a slim chance of survival. The Class 2 demonic blood horse was extremely fast and disappeared at the end of the road. Swish! A figure emerged from the forest. It was the gray-robed elder. He took a quick glance and noticed that one of the demonic blood horses was missing. Damn it! How could the gray-robed elder not know that he was fooled? Just as he was about to give chase, he suddenly stopped in his tracks and broke out in cold sweat. In the sky, a majestic figure slowly descended. Elder Yu. The gray-robed elder had a fearful expression. Who allowed you to pursue an inner sect disciple? Elder Yu released his chi presence and immobilized the gray-robed elder. The gray-robed elder begged, Elder Yu, I am innocent. I only wanted to capture him and not kill him. So you admit it. Yu Hua's chi presence intensified and pressed down on the gray-robed elder like a mountain. The gray-clothed old man immediately understood that Yu Hua wanted to kill him. Yu Hua, you'd better let me go. Otherwise, my Liao family won't let you off. After that, the gray-clothed old man could no longer speak, because he had already turned into a pool of blood. Heaven Realm martial artists were too powerful. Just their chi presence alone was enough to shatter an Earth Realm martial artist. Of course, this was mainly because the gray-robed elder's willpower wasn't strong enough. Once one's willpower collapsed, one's body would become extremely weak. Little fellow, work hard. I hope that one day, you can truly control your own destiny. Looking at the direction of Li Fuchen's departure, Yu Hua flashed into the sky and disappeared without a trace. For the next few days, Li Fuchen didn't dare to be careless and had 2 white miasma bombs ready at all times. On the 3rd day, Li Fuchen slightly relaxed his vigilance. Since they hadn't caught up to him yet, it was impossible for them to catch up to him in the future. The Zhonglan sect was located in the northwest of the Zhonglan region and Linsha City was also in the northwest. The distance between the two wasn't as far as Li Fuchen imagined. In less than half a month, Li Fuchen finally arrived at Linsha City. Linsha City was just a small city with a population of less than 200,000. Not only were there martial artists from the Zhonglan region, there were also martial artists from the Xianxia region. Even though City Lord Su Ping was at the 9th level of the Earth Realm and was much stronger than most of the city lords of large cities, he was still trembling in fear as he sat in this position. He was afraid that an expert from the Xianxia region would come and eliminate him. He couldn't be bothered with the theft of the Zheng clan's Jade Buddha by the 3 Wang brothers. He immediately posted the mission to the Zhonglan sect and waited for someone else to deal with it. The Zheng clan was a small clan and the strongest martial artist in the clan was only at the 9th level of the Origin Realm. On this day, Li Fuchen arrived at the outskirts of the Zheng clan. The Zheng clan patriarch personally came out to welcome him. Sensing that Li Fuchen was only at the 6th level of the Origin Realm, his expression turned ugly. What could a 6th level Origin Realm martial artist do? He thought that Zhonglan sect would send a 9th level Origin Realm prodigy over. Zhonglan sect inner sect disciple Li Fuchen greets Patriarch Zheng. Li Fuchen cupped his fist. Young hero Li is too polite. Even though he wasn't pleased, the Zheng clan patriarch didn't dare to neglect Li Fuchen and led him into the Zheng clan. In the Zheng clan's grand hall, the Zheng clan's upper echelons were all present. Why is he only at the 6th level of the Origin Realm? Could it be that the reward is too low and none of the Zhonglan sect's formidable inner sect disciples are willing to accept the mission? The upper echelons of the Zheng clan were in a heated discussion. This mission wasn't issued by City Lord Su Ping, but by the Zheng clan. That's why the mission had a reward of 30,000 gold coins, which wasn't a small sum to the Zheng clan. The Zheng clan's annual income was only a few tens of thousands of gold coins. Clearing his throat, the Zheng clan patriarch asked Li Fuchen, "Young hero Li, this mission isn't that easy. Are you the only one here?" Li Fuchen naturally knew what the Zheng clan patriarch meant. Zheng clan patriarch, I am the only one. The Zheng clan patriarch sighed. Since that is the case, I shall bring some men to accompany you to retrieve the Jade Buddha. No matter how incredible Li Fuchen was, he could only go against one of the 3 Wang brothers. Li Fuchen wouldn't be able to deal with the other two. Li Fuchen shook his head. I alone am enough. Young hero Li, the three Wang brothers are all at the 9th level of the origin realm and they cultivate the yellow class, peak tier technique, blood chi technique. I'm afraid you won't be able to deal with them alone. A veteran from the Zheng clan stood up. Li Fuchen gave a faint smile. Who is the strongest among you guys? Untalented, it is this old man. The veteran who spoke just now replied. If you can withstand a palm strike from me, I will leave immediately without a second word. If you can't, then everything is up to me. Li Fuchen replied. Hearing this, the veteran from the Zheng clan was infuriated. He had been at the 9th level of the origin realm for many years and had a robust chi. Had it not been for his low-grade cultivation technique, he might have already progressed to the earth realm. Since when was he looked down upon by others? Since young hero Li is so confident, then this old man shall offend you. The veteran from the Zheng clan came in front of Li Fuchen and revolved his technique, emitting a heavy chi presence. With a low growl, the veteran sent a palm strike at Li Fuchen. In the center of his palm was a ball of radiance that contained an astounding amount of energy. Return. Li Fuchen casually placed his palm on the Zheng clan's veteran's palm. A blazing intent flashed from Li Fuchen's body, causing the air in the hall to distort. In the next moment, the veteran flew backwards and landed on his chair with a shocked expression. Too strong. So strong that it was beyond logic. Was this the strength of a Tsanglan inner sect disciple? No, a regular Tsanglan inner sect disciple wouldn't be this strong. Li Fuchen must be a prodigy of the Tsanglan sect. Young hero Li's martial arts is astounding. This old man is impressed. The veteran's expression changed several times before he finally forced out a smile. Chapter 125. Li Fuchen found out from the Zheng patriarch that after the Wang brothers stole the Jade Buddha, they hid in the Feishue Mountains. The Feishue Mountains was perennially covered in snow and was sparsely populated. It was bordered by both the Tsanglan and Tiansha regions. Due to the frequent snowstorms, not to mention 3 individuals, even if an entire army entered, they wouldn't be able to cause a ripple. Patriarch Zheng, what's so special about this Jade Buddha statue? Intuition told Li Fuchen that this Jade Buddha wasn't simple. The Zheng patriarch hesitated and didn't know if he should tell Li Fuchen. The Zheng clan's veteran interrupted. There is no harm in telling young hero Li. It is still unknown if this Jade Buddha can be recovered. Clearing his throat, the elder of the Zheng clan said, This Jade Buddha is a treasure of our Zheng clan. It contains a secret technique called the Mystical Dragon Secret Technique. The Mystical Dragon Secret Technique can only be cultivated by referring to the Jade Buddha. The 3 Wang brothers must have obtained this secret information from somewhere, which is why they stole the Jade Buddha. Mystical Dragon Secret Technique? Li Fuchen raised his brows. Secret techniques were a special type of martial arts and a very rare type of martial arts. The Tsanglan sect had countless martial arts manuals, but only a few dozen secret techniques. Only direct disciples were qualified to redeem secret techniques. But Yuan Tian seemed to have redeemed a secret technique and someone saw him execute it. It was rumored that the Tsanglan sect's strongest secret technique was called Sect Origin Swords. This secret technique was much more famous than the true Azure Water technique and the true Inferno technique. Once executed, the sky and earth would be filled with sword chi, leaving no room for escape. Not sure what grade this mystical dragon secret technique was. Secret techniques were graded differently from martial arts manuals. Secret techniques were split into 9 stars, with 1 star being the lowest and 9 star being the highest. But the Sect Origin Swords was only a 5-star secret technique. Secret techniques that were above 5-star were those of the legends. Li Fuchen reckoned that the Mystical Dragon Secret Technique should be a 1 or 2-star secret technique. The elder from the Zheng clan continued, As long as young hero Li can help us retrieve the Jade Buddha statue, young hero Li can cultivate the Mystical Dragon Secret Technique on the Jade Buddha statue. Also, this old man forgot to tell young hero Li that this Mystical Dragon Secret Technique is neither a 1-star secret technique nor a 2-star secret technique, but a 3-star secret technique. What? 3-star secret technique? Li Fuchen was shocked. 3-star secret techniques were extremely precious. If the sect Origin Swords was the Azure Water Sect's sect-defining secret technique, 4-star secret techniques were absolute secret techniques, and 3-star secret techniques were first-rate secret techniques. That's right. A genuine 3-star secret technique? The Zheng veteran wanted to retrieve the Jade Buddha the most. In order to make Li Fuchen work harder, he didn't mind revealing the grade of the mystical dragon secret technique. Li Fuchen nodded and thought of something. I wonder what rank everyone has cultivated the mystical dragon secret technique to? A 3-star secret technique was extremely powerful. Even if one only had a superficial understanding of it, it would still increase the strength of an Origin Realm martial artist by quite a bit. If that was the case, the Zheng clan's high-leveled Origin Realm martial artist wouldn't have to fear the 3 Wang brothers and would be able to retrieve the Jade Buddha by himself. After all, the Zheng clan had quite a number of high-leveled Origin Realm martial artists. The elder from the Zheng clan said awkwardly, the mystical dragon mystic technique is divided into 3 stages. Other than me, who has cultivated it to the first stage, no one else has managed to cross the threshold. I see. Li Fuchen thought about it and agreed. If a 3-star secret technique was so easy to cultivate, it wouldn't be a 3-star secret technique. In addition, the secret technique was closely related to the bone frame. A 3-star secret technique corresponded to a 3-star bone frame, which meant to say only when the bone frame was at the 3-star level would it be easier to cultivate the secret technique. But the Azure Water Sect's sect Origin Swords could only be cultivated by a 5-star bone frame. Those below the 5-star bone frame could only reach the entry stage or subcompletion stage. Don't worry everyone. Since I have accepted this mission, I will do my best to complete it, Li Fuchen declared. Then we shall thank young hero Li. The Zheng clan's veteran and patriarch were grateful. The Zheng clan's upper echelons all stood up and cupped their fists. Even though the mystical dragon secret technique on the Jade Buddha was hard to cultivate, it was still a 3-star secret technique. If there was a day when the Zheng clan had a 3-star bone frame, it would definitely allow the Zheng clan to flourish and rise from the ranks of the minor clans. Everyone, you don't have to send me off. Walking out of the Zheng clan, Li Fuchen didn't ride on the demonic blood horse. With a flash, he flew out like a shadow and vanished into the horizon. Such a light body technique. Unbelievable. If our Zheng clan had someone like young hero Li, we wouldn't have to worry about our clan being weak. The Zheng clan's veteran lamented. Empty Feishue was situated 200 miles away from Linsha City. Before even getting close to Empty Feishue, Li Fuchen could already feel the chilling intent of Empty Feishue. Feishue isn't considered big, but it isn't small either. To find the 3 Wang brothers is no different from finding a needle in the bottom of the sea. I can only try my luck. Arriving at the foot of Empty Feishue, Li Fuchen exhaled a breath of hot air and executed his maneuvers to dive into the mountains. Within the mountains, there was a heavy snowstorm, blanketing the entire place in whiteness. If a regular martial artist were to come here for a prolonged period of time, they would definitely be frozen to death. But Li Fuchen realized that the cold weather had a huge impact on his qi. Even if he didn't cultivate, his qi would still slowly grow stronger. Climbing to the top of a snowy peak, Li Fuchen looked around. Li Fuchen's eyesight was very good. Without the obstruction of the snowstorm, he would have been able to see a mouse that was 10 miles away. The golden amulet changed his soul spirit, and the soul spirit changed his perception. For the next few days, Li Fuchen climbed all the snowy peaks and looked around. When he was thirsty, he would melt some snow to drink. When he was hungry, he would slaughter some edible demonic beasts to eat. Life wasn't that tough anymore. The part of Mt. Feishue that was connected to the Heaven Fiend region. On this day, a black-clothed absolute beauty arrived at the mountain range. The black-clothed young lady seemed to be extremely familiar with Mt. Feishue. She executed her light body technique and left no traces on the snow. In just half a day, she arrived at the waist of a towering mountain peak. Pushing away the snow, a cave that was as tall as a human appeared. The black-clothed young lady entered the cave. The cave extended in all directions, as though it was connected to the depths of the underground. The black-clothed young lady didn't wander around randomly. After a few turns, she arrived at a giant karst cave. This karst cave was at least a few dozen feet tall. At the top of the karst cave, there was an incomparably large stalactite. In front of this stalactite, a human would look like an ant. Below the stalactite was a small pond that was a few meters in radius. Drip, drip. Drops of milky white liquid dripped down from the stalactite and soaked into the small pool of water. The black-clothed young lady took off her clothes. Her skin was like snow and jade. Her thighs were long and slender. Her buttocks were perfectly round and perky, and her waist was slender. Keeping her clothes and shoes, she placed them into a waterproof bag and tied it to her arm. Plop. The young lady was like a mermaid. She dove into the pond and didn't emerge for a long time. The cave extended in all directions. What the young lady didn't know was that one of the tunnels was connected to the inside of another mountain peak. There was also a karst cave here, but it didn't have that giant stalactite. 3 middle-aged men were sitting cross-legged. In front of them was a palm-sized jade Buddha that sat on the ground. Lao-san, it is your turn to go hunting today. The oldest man casually said. Why is it me again? Isn't it second bro? Bullsh*T. I already went hunting yesterday. The middle-aged man who was the second oldest cursed. Alright, I will do it. You guys wait. Chapter 126. On top of a snowy mountain peak, Li Fuchen sat cross-legged. His right hand grabbed a piece of demonic beast meat and was roasting it. The demonic beast meat was slowly roasted and emitted a fragrant aroma. Li Fuchen started to devour it bite by bite. Looking into the distance, Li Fuchen saw a black shadow a few miles away. Using his eyesight to the extreme, Li Fuchen could clearly see the appearance of the black shadow. It's the third of the Wang brothers. Li Fuchen's eyes flashed with brilliance. This was truly a case of wearing out iron shoes in fruitless searching, only to find it by chance. Finishing the demonic beast meat in 2 or 3 bites, Li Fuchen executed his movement technique and skimmed down the mountain. The Wang brothers were called Wang De, Wang Er, and Wang San. Wang San searched around and quickly found a snow-ground boar. The snow-ground boar was a Class 1 mid-tier demonic beast. Its meat was practical and tasted great. Without much effort, Wang San killed the snow-ground boar with a single palm strike. He then carried the carcass and headed back. Li Fuchen silently followed behind. This was the back of the mountain peak, where the wind and snow couldn't enter. With familiarity, Wang San entered one of the flat caves. Big bro, second bro, I am back. Wang San was born with a loud voice, shouting and yelling. Shouting and yelling all day long, I am so annoyed by you. Wang Er said with disdain. Wang San snorted, don't eat it if you have the guts. Can the 3 of you share some with me? A clear voice echoed. Who is it? The 3 of them turned around and looked at the direction of the voice. A white-robed Li Fuchen slowly walked out. For you, how did you find this place? Wang Er had a gloomy expression. Li Fuchen looked at Wang San. This is all thanks to him. Hearing this, Wang San's expression didn't look good. You actually followed me? At this moment, the silent Wang De spoke. Since you are here, then don't leave. Us Wang brothers have killed plenty of Origin Realm martial artists, but we have never killed a Tsang Lan sect inner sect disciple. Reaching the 6th level of the Origin Realm at such a young age, even a fool would know that Li Fuchen was a Tsang Lan inner sect disciple. Hee. I wonder how the Azure Water sect inner sect disciples would fare after getting hit by my blood transformation technique. Wang Er licked his lips. The great art of blood dissolving. Anyone who was struck by it would immediately turn into a pool of blood. It was extremely tyrannical and suited Wang Er's temperament. I originally just wanted to cripple you. Since you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being merciless. Li Fuchen drew his black iron sword and walked towards the trio. Wang San's hands were blood-red as if they were smeared with blood. Blood palm print, profound level low-tier palm art. Of course, Wang San had only cultivated the blood handprint to the lesser mastery stage. Blood transformation grand art. Blood-red true qi erupted from Wang Er's body. The true qi tumbled like a collapsing sea of clouds. Blood transformation grand technique, 2-star secret technique. This was a secret technique that allowed one's qi to boil and vibrate. A regular 9th level origin realm martial artist would have their qi dissipate the moment they came into contact with the blood transformation grand technique. Their body would be corroded by the blood transformation grand technique and turn into a puddle of blood. For a moment, blood palm shadows were flying and blood-red qi was bursting out, shrouding Li Fuchen. Meteor fall, one blade without life. With the help of his sword intent, Li Fuchen's sword was like a meteor that suddenly escaped. Wang San clutched his neck and fell to the ground. Wang Er's blood transformation grand technique was pierced through by the sword. His chest and lungs were pierced by the sword. Fresh blood gushed out and he breathed his last. What? He broke Lao Er's blood transformation grand technique? Wang De, who was about to make a move, felt his scalp go numb. Wang San's blood palm print might be incredible, but its cultivation level was too low. But Wang Er was different. Wang Er's blood transformation grand technique was already at the lesser mastery stage. A lesser mastery 2-star secret technique was extraordinary. A 1-star secret technique was already envied by origin realm martial artists. A 2-star secret technique was something even Earth realm martial artists yearned for. Run! Grabbing the Jade Buddha, Wang De frantically sprinted. Li Fuchen reached out his hand and sucked out a manual from both Wang Er and Wang San. Without even looking, he chased after Wang De. The cave extended in all directions and one of the passages was extremely long. Wang De flew to the front and would occasionally use his palm to shatter the rocks to obstruct Li Fuchen's path. Seeing that speed wasn't enough, Li Fuchen revolved the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique and used his chi protection to shatter the rocks. Whenever he encountered a giant rock, he would use a mountain-splitting palm to shatter it. With one chasing and the other escaping, an hour later, they arrived at a giant karst cave. It was obvious that this was Wang Da's first time here and he was shocked. But the most important thing now was to get rid of Li Fuchen. Here you go, Jade Buddha. Wang De exerted strength in his arm and the Jade Buddha turned into a stream of light, shooting at Li Fuchen. Using a gentle force with his left hand, Li Fuchen caught the Jade Buddha. Blood saber slash. Right at this moment, Wang De drew a blood-colored long saber and slashed at Li Fuchen. This slash was extremely ruthless. With a slash, it was extremely fast, as though it wanted to slash and kill everything in its path. All life in this world would be extinguished under this slash. Blood saber slash. Mystic class, low-tier saber art. With the sharpness of the artifact saber, Wang Da's slash was even more horrifying than Wang Er and Wang San combined. He didn't believe that the moment Li Fuchen caught the Jade Buddha, he would still be able to block this slash. This slash would at least severely injure Li Fuchen. If he was lucky, he might be able to kill Li Fuchen in a single slash. By then, the Jade Buddha would still be his. Thinking of this, Wang Da's eyes were filled with malevolence. Li Fuchen shook his head. His opponent was too greedy. Greedy people usually didn't live long. Catching the Jade Buddha with his left hand, Li Fuchen shook his right wrist and 2 streams of light appeared. Ding! A stream of light blocked Wang Da's blood saber slash, while the other stream of light pierced through Wang Da's throat. Why is it so fast? Wang De couldn't understand why Li Fuchen's sword was so fast. This had already broken through the limits of an origin realm martial artist. It was impossible to achieve this with just qi and bodily functions. This is sword intent. Li Fuchen said indifferently. The existence of sword intent was to turn the impossible into the possible. It was said that heaven-class sword art's sword intent could materialize and interfere with heaven and earth. With a suction force, Li Fuchen extracted 2 manuals from Wang Da's body. Including the manuals from Wang Er and Wang San, there was a total of 4 manuals. They were the blood qi technique, blood saber slash, blood change technique, and blood palm print. Too bloody and vicious, not suitable for righteous martial artists? Li Fuchen frowned. These 4 manuals weren't suitable for him, nor for the Li clan. He really didn't know where the Wang brothers got their hands on these 4 manuals. This is the milk stone? Keeping the jade Buddha and the manuals, Li Fuchen finally had the mood to size up the karst cave. The karst cave was unbelievably huge, a few tens of feet high. A person standing inside looked tiny. At the top of the karst cave was a stalactite that was a few tens of feet long. The closer it was to the ground, the thinner the stalactite. At the tip of the stalactite, drops of milky white liquid dripped. The milk stone is a treasure of heaven and earth. The effects of the 100-year milk stone is already comparable to a mid-tier, yellow-class body-tempering pill. The effects of the 1,000-year milk stone is comparable to a peak-tier, yellow-class body-tempering pill. Even though most of the water in this pool is water, after mixing with the milk stone, it has turned into milk stone water. Li Fuchen's heart was on fire. Chapter 127. Using his index finger to catch a drop of white stalactite, Li Fuchen put it into his mouth. This medicinal effect seems to be far beyond the yellow class, peak tier. Li Fuchen's eyes lit up. The stalactite melted in his mouth and dispersed into his limbs, nourishing his flesh and bones. Li Fuchen once consumed a yellow class, peak tier, body-tempering pill that cost 10,000 contribution points, a blood-bone pill. Even though the duration of a blood-bone pill was longer than a drop of stalactite, the strength of the pill was far inferior. I wonder how old this stalactite is? Li Fuchen knew the effects of 100-year stalactite, but he didn't know the effects of stalactites older than 100 years. Taking a look at the pool, Li Fuchen took off his clothes without hesitation, revealing his slender and muscular body. With a plop, Li Fuchen dived in like a fish. So comfortable! Li Fuchen felt as though he was immersed in a refreshing stream of qi. The qi penetrated into his body and changed his body, inch by inch. This feeling was incomparably wonderful. Not daring to waste, Li Fuchen immediately revolved the hidden blood body technique. The hidden blood body technique was a qi circulation technique. Every circulation would consume a large amount of qi. Without the support of body-tempering resources and frequent cultivation, one would turn into a dried corpse. The hidden blood body technique that was progressing slowly, under the nourishment of the stalactite, began to revolve at a frenzied pace. Li Fuchen's body became tougher and stronger, especially his bones, which were tempered the most. Be it the Crimson Battle form or the Interception form Dao, they weren't enough to temper the bones. The bones were the foundation of a human strength. Without the support of the bones, it would be hard for one's strength to reach the limit. Once one exerted too much strength, it was normal for the bones to break. Visible to the naked eye, the white substance within the pool was gathering towards Li Fuchen. His life force was gradually strengthening. What Li Fuchen didn't know was that 10 meters below him, a naked young lady was sitting in a lotus position. The young lady had an extremely beautiful face, just like a jade carving. In terms of facial features, even the 4 beauties of the Zhanglan sect paled in comparison. Only Zhao Mingyue could barely match up to her. The young lady's body was emitting a black glow. Within the black glow, there was a white glow, giving off a deep and gorgeous vibe. The 1,000-year stalactite had a body-tempering effect that was comparable to a half-mystic class pill. Even if she, Yan Qingwu, was the Heaven Fiend sect's supreme genius, she could not afford so many elixirs. The sect believed in self-reliance. If you wanted something, you had to obtain it yourself. You wouldn't be able to achieve great things by relying on others. Her identity as a prodigy only made it easier for her to obtain resources. The innate fiend body-tempering art was the strongest body-tempering art in the innate fiend sect. It was a mystic class peak-tier body-tempering art. When cultivated to the highest level, one could have the strength of 100,000 pounds. Relying on the 1,000-year stone milk, Yan Qingwu had already cultivated to the second layer. She had the strength of 40,000 pounds, and the second layer of perfection would be 50,000 pounds. When he opened his eyes, 2 bright rays of light flashed in the pond. The young girl's eyes were extremely beautiful, but they contained an astonishing baleful aura. The corners of her eyes were as sharp as knives, and no one dared to look at them directly. Yan Qingwu couldn't sense it when she was cultivating previously. However, after she stopped cultivating, she immediately sensed that there was someone above the pond. Damn it! Yan Qingwu's eyes flashed with killing intent. He pulled out his machete and swam upwards. So cool! Li Fuchen was in a state of cultivation. A year ago, his hidden blood body technique was only at the 3rd rank and had 25,000 pounds of physical strength. But in just an hour, the 3rd rank of the hidden blood body technique was at the completion rank and his physical strength was at 30,000 pounds. To be able to cultivate so quickly, firstly, Li Fuchen had an abnormally high perception and willpower. As long as he had enough resources, he could continue to improve. When cultivating the Crimson Battle form and Interception form Dao, Li Fuchen was limited by resources and didn't reach the limits of his cultivation speed. Secondly, Li Fuchen had already cultivated the hidden blood body technique to the 3rd rank. Before reaching the completion rank of the 3rd rank, there weren't many obstacles. Thirdly, and most importantly, the medicinal effects of the 1,000-year stone milk was too intense. It was practically boosting the hidden blood body technique circulation. A half mystic class pill was worth at least 50,000 gold coins. Normally, it would be around 70 to 80,000 gold coins. This pond of 1,000-year stone milk was equivalent to an unknown number of half mystic class pills. Now that the hidden blood body technique was at the completion rank of the 3rd rank, Li Fuchen wanted to try for the 4th rank. But there was a killing intent coming from the bottom of the pond. Opening his eyes, Li Fuchen quickly retreated. Rumble! The pond exploded and a saber light burst out like a black crescent moon. Yan Qingwu was a little surprised. She executed the cloud roaming technique to get close to Li Fuchen and executed the black moon saber style. She thought she could kill her enemy in a single saber. But she failed today. In the past, with this saber, as long as it wasn't an Earth Realm martial artist, no matter how formidable an Origin Realm martial artist was, they would be split apart by her saber. There was no need for a second saber. Because she didn't expect herself to fail, Yan Qingwu didn't have a stitch of clothing on. Her naked body was presented in front of Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen only saw a blur in front of him and an additional white jade figure appeared. Beautiful. Li Fuchen's first impression was that it was beautiful. Beautiful face. Beautiful body. Everywhere was beautiful. Li Fuchen was after all a hot-blooded youth. When he saw such a beautiful scene, his lower body couldn't help but have a reaction. Die. Having her body seen, Yan Qingwu's killing intent intensified. The black curved saber cleaved again. The saber light was like lightning, sharp and ruthless. Danger. Li Fuchen's scalp went numb. This young lady was at most 16 or 17 years old, but her cultivation was abnormally high. She was actually at the 8th level of the Origin Realm. When Li Fuchen was 16 years old, he only progressed to the Origin Realm. Yuan Tian, who was a 5-star bone frame, was only half a year older than Li Fuchen. But this young lady was already at the 8th level of the Origin Realm at the age of 16 or 17. Perhaps before the end of the year, she would advance to the 9th level of the Origin Realm. Could she be the legendary 6-star bone frame? Li Fuchen was overwhelmed with shock. A 5-star bone frame was already considered a prodigy among prodigies. A 6-star bone frame was something that only existed in historical records. This unprecedented danger pushed Li Fuchen's reflexes to the limits. With a push of his right hand, Li Fuchen moved half a meter to the side, dodging this lightning-like saber. Immediately, Li Fuchen's right hand reached out with lightning speed in an attempt to snatch his opponent's weapon. His black iron sword was on the shore and couldn't be retrieved in time. Yan Qingwu didn't expect Li Fuchen's reflexes to be so fast. In an instant, her wrist was grabbed. Just as she was about to use her strength to shake off Li Fuchen, she didn't expect Li Fuchen to stick close to her. For a moment, the two naked bodies were entangled together. An indescribable feeling assaulted their hearts, causing their bodies to freeze. "I am going to kill you." A horrifying killing intent exploded. Yan Qingwu's body shook as her qi burst forth. Spitting out a large mouthful of fresh blood, Li Fuchen flew out of the pond and landed on the shore. Not caring about his injuries, Li Fuchen quickly grabbed the black iron sword and readied himself for battle. If you dare to leave, I will definitely kill you. Yan Qingwu didn't chase out of the pond, but dove into it instead. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation, audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.